My topic or issue will be over forced labor and just cheap labor in general around the world, and how giant corporations and companies with a lot of power abuse um, people of high poverty and people who don't make much money around the world, especially in uh, countries with low minimum wage. A lot of countries that don't have the type of money to pay their people for regular jobs. They don't have that type of economy. So companies like that would be Nestle, Philip Morris, Microsoft, Hershey's, H&M, Apple. These are all examples because Microsoft and Apple and companies like of technology sometimes, or they do, they take advantage of people where they have low income, and they need the supplies, they need that raw material in order to make their products, obviously. So, and places like that have the materials in the ground and wherever they get it from, they they abuse that power of exploiting people that really need that money. And they don't, some companies, I'm not sure exactly which ones, do not supply their employers, like their employees, with the right safety equipment, with the right materials in order to do the job correctly, because these companies don't want to spend that much money on the actual physical labor, because how much money they make, like they're not going to spend it on the people who don't really demand it, the people who can't demand it, like, because there's always someone in those cheap countries that are looking for any way to make money, so they'll take anything that big company will give them. Small countries such as Malawi, Guinea, Venezuela, Bangladesh, Kyrgyzstan, India, all have very low income. Their minimum wage is around, the average minimum, like the lowest minimum wage is like around like 500 or 200 to $500 a year, which is not that much money. That's very little. The minimum wage in the United States is around like $7 an hour, and the average income yearly is 92,000 in the United States. So compare that to these cheap countries that don't, supply their citizens with and their people. A big problem in India is the tea plantations. In Europe, everyone drinks tea, and same thing in the United States. A lot of people drink tea, so it's a lot of money being made. And in India, they have the land and the right crops to grow that. And in certain states like Assam, Lipton, Twinley, and a lot of other tea companies say that they say that they provide their employees with the right equipment, the right safety measures. But a lot of BBC made a study over there, and then they found out that a lot of these companies aren't really living up to what they say. They're not living up to their word, and there's a lot of safety hazards and a lot of poverty right now that those companies can provide their people, and that's the problem. The problem is they're not safe, and they're not, like the companies aren't doing what they're supposed to for those people because of how easy they are to exploit. Some solutions could be, the spread of food, the right distribution of food, because that's really what they do to feed their family. And a lot of companies, they abuse that power, and they don't provide the right. They provide the minimum, the very bare minimum. And I'm not saying all companies do that. The ones that use foreign labor, but a lot of them do, and will provide the right housing, the right equipment, and I think that the right distribution of those things could be good. Another solution could be better pay, of course, obviously better pay, and just the right distribution of food, better pay, better housing, and health benefits. A lot of other things that they don't provide right now, that if they did, it would just make the world a lot better, like a way better place, and it would just fix this problem of cheap labor and safety hazards around these cheap countries. Not these cheap countries, these poor countries that are really struggling. Their people are very struggling, and a lot of these countries actually have money, but they choose not to give to their people, and it all goes down to that selfishness, that need for money.